Hello, Mr. Zulu Ramkrishna here. Basically, we are discussing another topic, that is city creation. City creation, basically, we are discussing one another topic, that is this file. Basically, in this, basically, we reached up to the companies. Now, basically, companies are recruiting people for whom, basically, that is basically the 212 countries. 212 countries are ongoing. So, for that, resources are resources needs to hire. So just see basically up to what level things has connected basically. So one of the person told that this is actually human resource basically. This is actually human resource basically. The people who basically working in the human resource industry basically, they are supposed to know this thing basically. And this is the human resource only basically. This is only the human resource. This is human resource industry basically. One of the person told that this everything basically the people who are basically doing studying in the Oxford University, Harvard University, and big degree people basically they might be 100% knowing no basically 100% they might be knowing. That's why basically they are they have done the study in Harvard and in Oxford group basically. That's why they have done the study basically. That's why they are paying the money, na basically. That's why they have paid the money so that basically they can have this type of thing basically. So see basically, this is specially basically for the human resource organizations. So just see basically. So we will take basically this little bit detail basically. That is this 100 crore metrics in this world. 100 crore metrics means what basically? One of the person told that. That basically we have discussed this in detail basically. That is 100 crore basically. One of the example basically I have taken as a Bangalore city basically. Bangalore city basically is having Bangalore city is having big buildings basically, and from that basically the Microsoft has got the contract basically of building basically, and building contract basically was of Microsoft got 1,000 building contracts. From thousands building basically they are basically handling. So from this 100 crore, that is 1,000 buildings are also included in this 1,000 crore building. Sorry, 1,000 crore matrix actually. And this 1,000 crore matrix, one matrix basically contains thousands of building basically you can. So Microsoft is one matrix basically you can say. Microsoft basically never creates 1,000 building for 1,000 matrix. They are never going to create that because it's too much expense basically. You have to pay to nuclear power company, you have to pay to power company, that also daily you have to pay. You have to pay to power company, you have to pay to nuclear power company, you have to pay to energy companies, then basically you have to pay to governments basically, you have to pay, then basically you have to pay to resources basically, and then basically you have to pay, sometimes you have to pay to the buildings also basically. Why? Because building people basically if he is not getting some job or basically something basically, then you have to help him basically, otherwise your matrix is going to become in problem basically. So you can just imagine basically up to what level things has to connect, because sometimes happens basically. For example, I am sitting in this building, so the some assume that some TCS company is giving matrix to this building, so they basically have to correct Sunil R Nair's matrix basically, otherwise basically it might possible that TCS matrix will become bad basically. So in this 100 crore matrix in the world basically which is created, they have basically done up to that level only basically. So for this 100 crore matrix, 100 crore resources basically might have created. Here basically I am taking just minimum resource basically, one resource. So that, and his basically group might be there basically. So 1 crore 100 crore matrix equal to 100 crore resources. For example, in Mumbai city, assume that just a minute, I will take one live example that will be clear. But live example, just a minute. live example. I will just take live example. See, internet is also not available. Otherwise, I might have taken live example. Let me disconnect it and again connect it. I think internet is not working. Otherwise, I might have taken live example. Let me see, internet is working or not. Internet is not working. Then also we will do one thing. We will take some buildings example. Assume that basically in Bangalore city there are few buildings which height is around 200 floors or 300 floors basically. Assume that basically. So that building basically is uh, uh, his height basically is 200 crore, the 200 floor. That means basically how much height might be it be. So assume that basically some height is there basically of the 200 building basically. So one of the person told that this is the height basically of the building basically. So in that building basically how many matrix basically might have created? There might be one matrix only, that is of the one group basically, and he might be handling everything basically. So on the base of that matrix basically the building is not moving to left side and not moving to right side basically. Reason, the matrix is created basically, and that matrix is 100 from 100 crore basically that matrix is containing, and from 100 crore the matrix basically is containing, that matrix basically is controlled by some nuclear power company, energy company, and the resources group basically, right? That is the one thing. And that each and every matrix basically has created some resources. So that resource basically is handling the entire building basically. That is the matrix basically. That is the energy companies. So the resources groups are there, and that resources basically are connected directly with the 212 countries. Because here basically I have taken the example of Bangalore city. So that Bangalore city is in India basically. So you can just imagine. So this is basically the simple example basically. You can say. So see basically. And this is 100% going to happen. This is 100% going to happen. And this is also basically, this is everything is done only basically. Human resource department has done this basically. So you can just imagine basically. They have already done this basically. So you can just imagine basically. So in next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about this topic.